welcome everyone to another episode of Couch Coaches. I'm your host, John Lazaron, and I'm here with my co-host, OG fan from the start, Richard Villaletti. How's it going, bro?
Villaletti, love it. Very good, John. Yeah, the OG. I'm trying to show my OG colours. This was my first Warriors jersey that I ever got. I think I was about for my 15th birthday, I think. And I brought it to school to take to rugby practice, and I thought I lost it, and I actually cried at school when I was 15 years old. So I'm happy that I can still fit it. It's a bit tight, but yeah, ready for another great episode after the success of last week.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that you cried at 15 when you were from Christchurch. So, South Islanders need to harden up a bit, mate.
There's something in that beautiful Christchurch H2O, just really brings out the best of us.
Yeah, no offense to all the South Islanders there that are listening to this. No offense. I know it's all good. It's all good. Just me.
I was down the South Island last week. John, and last weekend, and there's a few catch coaches or coaches fans down there. So yeah, we should keep them in our thoughts and thank them for the support.
Yeah, exactly. We had our first episode last week, and to be honest, we thought that starting out, no one really knows us. We didn't have the biggest expectation, did we? To get this out there, but it was a lot better than we thought.
No, it was great. Yeah, just shout out to everyone who listened and sent through some feedback. Really meant the world to us. So we're just going on and up from there.
Yeah, got a lot more downloads than we expected, so we are really, really happy. So thank you to all who listened and will continue to listen on as we try to bring you some awesome NRL and Warriors news. So let's get right into it, mate. Obviously, a bit of Warriors FOMO for myself over the weekend. It feels hard when there's not a Warriors game on the weekend. You have to watch just all the other sides, but I guess the All Blacks, sort of filled that sort of empty heart of mine over the weekend. But yeah, it's just not the same.
Yeah, it was nice to watch the All Blacks and get up a big win against the Wallabies at the G in front of about 80,000 people, I think it was. So it's absolutely crazy. But yeah, no, there was a real missing piece of my soul over the weekends. The boys got Warriors get 2 points though, and they're still in third, so I'm happy about that. But there was a little bit of movement sort of elsewhere in the ladder, and there's a few teams who are starting to maybe make their case, and a few teams that are starting to just slip away with just 5 rounds left of the season.
Yeah, well, the Knights, man, look, the Knights. I mean, everyone has been going on about how the Cowboys are going to be the team to watch. Coming in to the last part of the season and going into the finals. But to me, at the moment, I actually think it's the Knights. They're on a run. They're running hot, and yeah, I think that they will slip into the top 8. And we'll talk more about that later. But the Knights, I think they're the team to watch out at the moment.
I think they've won. Yeah, I was going to say, I think they've won four on the trot now. So it's something that the Warriors haven't done in a very long time, but they've got a chance to do it this weekend when they take on the Titans. But yeah, they absolutely made a fool of Ricky and the Raiders. So the Raiders are probably one of those teams that look like they're just slowly slipping down the ladder, and they'll be a little bit concerned about whether they can their position from here and whether they'll make the 8. Broncos look like the real deal, don't they? 32-10 on Thursday night. I know the Roosters.
Yeah.
The Roosters have been the most. I think it's safe to say the Roosters probably been the most disappointing team this season. I had them as my minor premiers. So they looked like they should be good. They had a few injuries, but yeah. Broncos 32-10, just that's looking so good, and great to see Peter Carrigan get that first try of his career. I think he's played over 80 games, and first try.
Yeah.
So you know what so that team obviously love him. This sort of reaction after it happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was also very surprised. He just, I don't know. He seems like he would have got over at some point, and there hadn't really been any talk about it. I felt like it's not like the Alex Twal thing, a few weeks ago where he scored his first try after, over 100 games.
Well, I mean, I actually was surprised. I actually didn't know that, to be honest, which is really bad on my part. But I actually thought, because he's such a versatile lock, and I'm really surprised to hear that was his first try, because he's one of those players, that can just wriggle out of tackles, and you would think that on the goal line he would have scored many, kind of like Murata's doing at the moment when he gets through, or Josh Curran when he gets through. But good on him. You know, congratulations for his first try. Hopefully, there's many more, but not against the Warriors. That's what I'm going to say. Not
Yeah,
against the Warriors.
not against the Warriors. We might be the way that the table's sort of shaping up. We could be playing the Broncos in the first week of the finals. So yeah, don't need them scoring a try in that game. A few other sort of
if
notable.
that is the case,
yeah,
sorry, I was going to say if that's the case, sorry, if that's the case, you know, it's going to be a big one because you know everybody will be doing going down just hard and nasty on Reece Walsh. I think.
Yeah, they will. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's going to be one of those things, like there's always going to be a bit of animosity there, but he's playing some pretty good rugby league, so it's hard to sort of, he probably doesn't mind too much. He's, played in a winning Origin team in his third season playing in the NRL and was one of the standouts. So just having a look through what else happened last week. The Rabbits 32-18 over the Tigers. I mean, no surprises there. I think we both picked Rabbits 13 plus from memory last week. The Storm 46-16 over the Eels. The Eels are sort of, they're in this spot, in this sort of 9 to 11, 12 spot where they need every win they can get, and a 30-point loss, and it was it's pretty brutal. The Storm, the Storm, you just need to look out for them, don't they? I think we said it last week. They had their loss to the Knights, and they very much bounced back well from that.
Well, so, I knew they would. You can't lose the way they did against the Knights and not get a kick up the ass, from Coach Bellamy and not come out and firing, because he would have been. I don't know. I wouldn't want to know what it's like in the changing room if you had lost 2 on the trot with Bellamy in there. So, yeah.
We've seen his reaction. Just from when the Storm are winning, and then they do Storm winning by 30 points, and they do a silly mistake. You see the blow-ups he has in the coaching box. So, he just. I mean, I said it last week, and that Melbourne system is obviously just like they're so professional, so clinical. I think Nelson Solomona is back this week as well, so he's always a big in for them. We talked about the Knights. Knights 28-6 over the Raiders. I mean, what more can you say? The Knights are flying. The Raiders look like they might be in some trouble.
Yeah, well, I said this last week, and if you were listening last week, then you would have heard me say I think the Raiders are just pretenders. Don't get me wrong. I think they're a gritty side. But I think you need a little bit more than gritty to get up there. And I think that they're a team that they're either on the back pedal and they try to mount a comeback late, which they do, and they always fall short or just get over the line, which is why they've got a bad points differential. Even though they're in the 8, they've got a bad points differential. So I don't see how that's going to help them because the ladder's congested already, and everybody in that ladder has a positive points differential except for the Raiders. That's not going to help them.
No, it's not. So if they do get in, they could, or they get close to getting in, and they could miss out on having that points differential. So I think I was quite keen on the Raiders last week. I thought they might put on a bit more of a show, but no, wasn't to be. Panthers 28-0 over the Sharks. I mean, the Sharks I think we know the Panthers are still very good, aren't they? And I mean, they're top of the table and they're tracking for 3 straight minor premierships. Is that the Sharks season, you reckon?
I think it is. I thought it was the Sharks season was gone maybe 2 weeks ago. To be honest, they're not playing with confidence. When I was at Mount Smart. Or go Media Smart, is it? Oh, sorry.
Go Media Stadium. Come on, John. Give it a respect.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, sorry. My bad. I'm just going to call it Mount Smart.
The mighty Go Media Stadium.
Yeah, sorry, Go Mighty Media Stadium. When I was there watching them play, and I know that take nothing away from the boys because they played awesome. They just ran around them so easily, but you could see that they're not playing with confidence. That was the thing. They're not playing with confidence. And you can see it in their body language. And I just thought from there, their season is over. And it's showing because of the way they're playing. They're just not putting up any good performances. They did mount a comeback against Manly recently, but they still didn't get them over the line.
Yeah. Still fell short. So no. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think that's about 3 losses in a row. 2 of them big, that was 28-0. The Warriors one was, what was that game in the end? 48. Or something like that, or maybe 16, and then obviously that Manly game where they got within a try in the end, but I think they were down by about 4 or 5 tries with 15 minutes to go. So you can't just you can't be doing that every week. And just their key player, you know, like Hines just looks a shell of the player he was last year, and it's sad to see because I love him as a player. He's one of the best looking guys in the NRL as well. So I'm not going to take that from him, but like, you know, he's still in that top 5. But so I hope they can, you know, have a bit of a bounce back. And probably finish their season on a bit more positive note. But they'll be struggling to sort of I mean, mentally they must be hurting, and they'll be struggling about 8 from here.
Yeah, well, I think with Hines, he's just taken too much on himself. If you feel like he's carrying the club, you know what I mean? And it's just too much for him. It's just too much for him. I don't think what happened at Origin, where he was selected and came on for 10 minutes, didn't help, and then got axed the next match, didn't help his his confidence at all. Didn't help it at all. And I just think that from there, he's just slumped, and you can see it. He's normally, when he plays and he's in top form, when he's running wild, you know, doing his thing, you can see it. He's got a smile on his face. His body language is just right up there, and you can't see it at the moment. Just can't see it at the moment. So he's vital to their success. So if he's not doing well, then that team is not going to do well, and that's what's happening at the moment. It's showing right now.
That is indeed. The Sharks must be the Sharks management must be hurting watching former Sharks pairing of Luke Metcalf and Sean Johnson doing what they're doing for the Warriors at the moment, and thinking, oh, what if? We probably could have let go of Matt Moreland at some point, but here we are. Sunday we were treated to 2 absolute blockbusters in the end. The Bulldogs 33-22 over the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins were favourites, but I think from memory, we both quite liked the Bulldogs in this game, and they made it harder for themselves than they had to, with the Dolphins scoring in the final minute. But Azako missing what looked like a pretty, you get that, you might get that, 3 times out of 5 or something. So I think he'd be pretty disappointed with that. But great to see 2 teams that sort of out of the running, but still trying hard and putting on a bit of a show on some Sunday afternoon footy.
Yeah, well, look what happens when vital personnel come into the team. Kikau made his return after a long stand with injury, and he came in and he scored. I know he scored 1 try. I wasn't sure if it was 2 or 1 try, but he scored 1 try at least. And he made a big difference. You could just see it, and it's funny how that happens. How personnel can just change the whole, again, body language of the Salt side and the motivation of the side, and it changed, and you could see it on the game. So, but the next game was the big one for me.
Yeah, was it what? And it was this Queensland battle, and I mean, I had, you could have given me minus 25, minus 30, and I probably would have still taken the Cowboys. I thought they were going to put on an absolute show.
Me too.
And
who didn't? Yeah,
and even at half time, I think it was about 13-10, and I was like, wait for the Cowboys to sort of start shining. But no, it wasn't to be. Titans getting up 22-13 on the back of a huge second half effort. We're recording this on Tuesday night. Val Holmes going to the judiciary tonight to fight his 3-match ban.
He's fighting it.
Yeah, he's fighting it. I'm very surprised.
Oh, all right. I thought that he had no shot. I don't think he would do that because it was a bit obvious. But okay.
Oh, it looks super obvious. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his. Yeah, he's obviously got an argument, but I expect that he'll get an extra week or 2. Because it didn't look great. But I suppose it's this time of the season where, is it worth trying to fight it if you can get extra, if you can get an extra game towards the end of the season? I don't know. But kudos to the Titans. They might be one to look, and bad week for the Warriors to be coming up against them. But I'm sure we'll discuss that a little bit later.
I was a bit bemused by Todd Clayton's comments in regards to the excuses why they lost. As Origin stars might be a bit tired, but I mean, like, they won, what was it, 4 or 5 games in a row? Cowboys?
The Cowboys had, at least 4. Yeah, I think maybe 5, yeah.
Yeah, so, they didn't look tired then. I mean, they might be tired after 5 games, but they're still on a winning trot. So I don't know, that excuse didn't go down well with me. I was thinking, it's just a load of rubbish. I just thought the Titans just played better, and good for the Titans, because they have been in many games where it's been really tight, where they've just lost maybe by 2 points, etc., against some good sides as well, and they've been unlucky with some calls going the other side's way. And I just thought, good on the Titans for for finally getting one getting one up for them. So, and yeah, you're right. Playing the Warriors this weekend, they're on a high, but I still think the Warriors will still, put them to pieces. But hopefully I don't jinx that. But I don't believe in jinxing. But I was going to say that anyway. But yeah, I think that I think we'll still put them to the chop. So yeah, it's all good.
Nice. Yeah, well, as I said, it was a bit bizarre, sort of. Well, not bizarre, but it's a bit empty watching a weekend in a row without the Warriors. But there was plenty to sort of. I mean, we just talked for about 15 minutes about that round, so there was obviously still plenty that was happening. And yeah, we got the Warriors Titans this week.
Yeah, well, let's go to the team actually right now. Let's go to the team. So very stacked side that's happening. Let me just pull up the team right now quickly. Yeah, it's a very, very, very stacked side, and I'm really impressed with it. Jazz, 18th man. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it might be one of those ones where he sneaks in closer to the time, but with the way everyone's playing, no one's played themselves out of the team, have they? I was sort of thinking before, who's he going to replace? He'd probably come on the bench, wouldn't he? You got Dylan Walker, Bunty Afoa, Bailey Sirenen, and Josh Curran on the bench there. I do not think that you can drop Curran. I don't think you can drop Walker. It might be Sirenen, but it'd be unlucky.
Yeah,
it'd be unlucky.
I think if they are going to drop someone for Jazz to come in, it would be Sirenen, and that would be very unlucky for him because he's been playing well. But who knows how Webster goes with this? So we got same fullback chance, 2 Dylan, centers Rocco and Adam. On the other wing, Marcelo, Metcalf at standoff, Johnson at halfback, AFB at prop, hooker Wade Egan, Mitchell Barnett starting prop this week, Jackson Ford 11, 12, Marata and Tohu captain at 13. And again, as you said, Dylan Walker, Bunty, Sirenen and Curran on the bench with Tavanga at 18. And it's a stacked side for me. And I have a feeling that they will maybe swap Tavanga with Sirenen just to give him some game time. Because obviously he's not going to be. They haven't thrown him into New South Wales Cup. So yeah, I reckon they'll give him one game at least. So I think they're going to do it. I think you're going to see some late changes. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of people are saying that you're going to see some late change on the day. It will be Tavanga for anyone. It'll probably be Sirenen because he can cover the hooker role, which is Sirenen is there because Lussig's out, and so Sirenen will be there to cover Wade Egan in case something goes wrong.
Yeah,
he'll be the person to go to.
Lussick is on the extended bench, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on the extended bench.
Yeah.
So I
was thinking that this is probably if Jazz plays, with the exception maybe of Tamari Martin and Luke Metcalf, this is basically the first time I feel like we've had everyone fit. We've had so many injuries this season. I don't know if you saw that post on social media this year, but we've had 11 instances of players being out for 4 or more games, I think, and it's the second most equal out of any team in the comp, which is incredible considering how well we're playing. But it just shows this depth we've got at the moment. It's something that we're kind of not used to at the Warriors, but the depth of the team is we've brought in some Aussie hard men in the likes of sort of Barnett and Jackson Ford. Just got an absolute lightning, exciting backline. The more I think about this team at the moment, it really gets me going.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's awesome, and like you said, really unheard of at the Warriors in a Warriors side. But what makes me really happy about this as well is that the way they're going and the way the club has been doing things, how from the CEO, to the coaches, to the trainers, everything, the whole club identity, etc. It will attract other Aussies to come over as well. That's always been a hard thing for the Warriors is to attract Australians over to come and live in New Zealand in the past. You see, for example, when the last couple of years in the COVID years, when they were playing, they had some Aussies like Ewan Aiken, etc. As soon as the moment that they come back to New Zealand, they want out.
Yeah.
You know, they want out and because they want their families to be there. But the thing is that so why did they sign up in the first place? It's because they knew that they were going to be based in Australia, you know, Redcliffe, etc. So in the Sunshine Coast when they were there. But I think the way they're going now, it's not just about the way they're playing that's going to attract players. It's actually the fact the way that how the club is operating that's going to attract players as well. And I think that's a good thing for the club because, to be honest, I know we're a New Zealand club, but you know you don't have to agree with me out there if you're listening to this, but it's the truth. You need Australians in your side sometimes to make the side a bit better. You need some Australian players because it's just like having New Zealand rugby players in sides, club sides. If an All Black went over to an Australian Super Rugby side, for example, you know they can make things a little bit better in those positions. So it's just the reality of it, in my opinion.
Well, you look at the 2 times the Warriors have made the grand final in 2002 and 2011, and they had some key some Aussies playing key position, you know, like Campion and PJ Marsh and Santi. You know, like and then 2011 when we made it again, like sort of Lilleman there, Maloney was in the halves. I actually found the Rugby League week grand final preview this week at my parents' house. So I've been looking through that, and I was looking through the team, and oh god, it got me excited. So there's some good trivia in there. So I think I'm going to bring that up as we get sort of closer to the grand final. But I see that. So Tino's still out for the Titans, which is big for us. You know, he's obviously a brilliant player. Brimson's been named to play. I think he had some issues. Had to get some scans on his ribs, but he's playing. And in the centres, Jojo Fafita is out, with Aaron Shoup coming in his spot. So apart from that, the sort of Titans are looking pretty good. I see Ken Maumolo as number 22 for the Titans. So how good would it be to see him sort of sneak on back in there against his old club?
Yeah, I mean, one player that's been a standout for me for the Titans, especially the last couple of weeks, is Jaden Campbell. He's been he's really. I mean, you look at him, and he's tiny, he's really skinny. He doesn't look like a footy player sometimes. You know, when you look at him and stuff, but he's tough. He is tough. You know, he runs it up. He's not scared. He just gets in there. He's good under the high ball as well and stuff. And he's tough, and he's really impressive. He's really impressing me anyway.
Yeah, you say that name and it gives me a shiver down my spine remembering that game. I think it was in 2021. It was the final game of the season, and we got spanked 44-0. And Jaden Campbell, he had an absolute blinder. You know, he was everywhere. It was when Matt Lodge pulled the fingers at the crowd, and it was just it was one of those seasons, 2021. You know, it was we were sort of in it till about the second or third to last.
Don't want to remember it. Don't want to remember.
Oh, we have to, because now we can embrace the fact that we're doing all right this season.
True. Actually, I saw something on social media today where someone brought up a video from 2021, and they were in the changing sheds, and there were some Warriors players. I think Wade Egan was one of them in tears, etc. When they got walloped. I can't remember what side did that to them, but there were many sides that did that to them in 2021. But it's looking at that and then seeing the way they are now, it's just a big change. And you got to applaud Webby, and also the CEO and all the management there, what they've done at the club, and Webby, how he's just gelled the team together. And I mean, this week we asked questions on Warriors fans pages about who was the Warriors' best buy, because that's something that we spoke about last week. We only spoke about it just briefly, but I myself said Dylan Walker, despite the fact that all our new signings this year have been amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, they're awesome. Metcalf, Barnett, Murata, Chance, Walker. For me, Walker is the best utility in the NRL, hands down. Like, he's for me, he can slot into any position and he excels in his position. That's what makes me think that he is just top notch there. And he just plays with intensity. His leg speed is awesome. His D is awesome. I think for me, if I had to pick one, it would be Dylan Walker. And you said yourself was Chance, right?
Yeah, Chance for me. I just think that he just gives so much, and so I think touched on it last week, but he's not a big guy, but
Yeah.
the way he runs it up, like next to sort of Dallin and Marcelo Montoya, he looks a little bit smaller than them, but he's obviously buffed up. And it's just awesome to see him after sort of going away for a few years, playing some good footy at the Raiders, and then kind of falling off the radar a bit there. Him just sneaking back into this Warriors team and making that fullback jersey his own. I've got my top 6. So there's 6 of them that I can remember for this season. So put Chance first. I've got Jackson Ford second. More on the fact that I didn't have any expectations for him at all, and he has been incredible. Like, you think about the depth we have in second row, and that he's starting every week, and no one's questioning that at all. Like, he's been so good, probably the most improved player in the whole league, you reckon, Dylan Walker's third for me. Yeah, I think he's great, and when Jazz does get back in the team, I can't wait to see those two sort of doing what they did, because we got a little glimpse of it early in the season, and good Lord, they were beautiful to watch. Yeah, Mitch Barnett fourth, obviously been injured a bit, but he's been playing absolutely incredible. He's just that Aussie hard man we need. The same before, we've had these players like Steve Price, Jacob Lillyman, Kevin Campion and all that. He's so good. Metcalf at fifth, obviously came a little bit later in the season, but he's really made that 6 jersey his own, and it'd be hard to see Tamari Martin get it back when he returns, and Nuakori at 6. Nothing against Nuakori. I love him as a player. Probably the suspensions have probably let him down a little bit, but when he has played, he's been great as well. So we've been
you had that list. You had that list of 1 to 6, but it's fair. If it's a fair list, but what I'm saying, it's even though it's a fair list, they've all played magnificent roles, haven't they? They've all shined. Which is a good.
Well,
it's not like one.
Nuakori's 6th, and I still think he's been great. It's just the suspension thing's probably the one thing that's put him down there, but he's done his job very well when playing. So and still start. He's starting every week. So.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's been amazing. He's been amazing. The whole side's been amazing. But when we went to the fan pages, a lot of them responded, and I actually thought this would happen. Is that they've responded by a lot of them actually couldn't say. They're like all of them. So they couldn't pick them, which is fair enough. Because it's fair enough because it's such a hard list of players to pick from. So, but a lot of them also said, and I actually thought this would happen as well. A lot of them picked Webby, Andrew Webster as the signing of 2023, and you can't go past that as well because he's just done an amazing job, isn't he? Because you may have that roster, for you to play with, but you got to gel them together. You've got to be the one, to do the work and get them together and to motivate them and to get them to gel together. And he's done that magnificently.
Yeah, well, you think about how many coaches we've had since we last made the grand final. Ivan Cleary was the coach then. Should have probably been, we should have done whatever we can to hold on to him. But management at the time probably made a few bad decisions there. We've been through, must be, 7 or 8 coaches, Nathan Brown, Blurry McLennan, Adam Elliott, Todd Payton was there for a bit, Stephen Kearney, and no one could do anything with this team. And what Webster's done in a year, well, not even a year. If we can really hold on to him for a fair few years, we could be looking at a bit of a dynasty, I reckon.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's hard to say with things because I was really gutted when Peyton went to the Cowboys because I thought he did a good thing with the Warriors.
He was great.
It was awesome, and I was a bit gutted and stuff. But you're right because Kearney, for example, I thought I was a bit gutted for Kearney because I thought he was a great coach, and he did a good job leading the Kiwis to to their first ever World Cup in 2008. I mean, he did have Wayne Bennett by his side to help him out, which is going to boost any side. But he is a good coach, but he just like you said, he may know how to coach, but at that Warriors, some of the squads, some coaches just didn't know how to put the team and make them gel together to believe in themselves, and just to put on an 80-minute game. Which is where the Warriors have faltered for many years. They just can't put an 80-minute game. But this year we've done it with these. And I think the back three help with that. With like you said, with Chance, Dallin and Marcelo just taking big hits up for the forward, so they can they can get back on side and have a bit of a water break and some get some air back in their lungs and stuff. But I think they play an 80-minute game. That's what I think what Webster's done, and that's what excites me about the side, because that they're going to go fighting right to the end. Where previous Warrior sides, if they're down, they will just give up. And now then it's nothing like that at all. They're very clinical, very structured play. It's things that you don't always associate with the Warriors. But like for example, you take the right hand side where on the right hand edge where Sean Johnson comes into it, maybe on the third or fourth tackle, and the way his lines that he's running, on a little bit of an angle, straightens up, draws a couple of defenders onto chances there at speed, and it's just the pace of their passing as well is just spot on. Gets it to Rocco, and that's why Dallin's scoring a lot of tries. I think we've mentioned this before, but I think that's why it's just clinical rugby league, and it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see.
It is. So take it in while you can, Warriors fans, because as we've talked about already, it doesn't happen every year. So just enjoy it and jump on the bandwagon. If there's a few people out there, I don't know. I know what John thinks about the bandwagon is, but I'd say jump on. Choo choo.
You had a mate questioning me about me getting hard on the bandwagons. I never said anything bad against the bandwagoners. I was just saying there's a lot of bandwagoners, and there's nothing wrong with them. Jump on board, There's nothing wrong with that at all. Just say up the Warriors. That's all I say.
Up the Warriors.
It's never gonna be. It's gonna be an ongoing debate, isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
I was gonna say we didn't have a game last week, but there's been a bit of news out of the Warriors camp with Pompey. Pompey been re-signed with RTS coming next year. I know you've had your questions about the selection, John. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, to be honest with you, mate, I was a little surprised, and not taking anything away from Pompey, because he's done well. He's the only player on the side that's played every single match, for 80 minutes, every single match. He's done well. I saw some stats today about him, about how many tackle busts he's made, how many tackles he's made, etc. And they're actually impressive stats. So, but I was still surprised, because with RTS coming back, I'm pretty sure he's going to slot in straight away into centre. And he's already said that. He's come out and said that, hasn't he? RTS has actually come out and said he will be playing centre. And I don't think you can take Rocco out of the equation, because he's just playing awesome footy. He's playing great. And Adam's playing great as well. But if you had to choose between Rocco and Pompey, who would you take out? And in my opinion, you would have to take out Pompey for RTS. But do you think Webster will slot RTS straight back into the first grade side, or will he give him some time in reserve grade before he makes that move?
I mean, I think he's too good to be playing reserve grade. Well, I mean, we don't know what he's going to come back. 2 years playing Union might ruin the best of us. So, but providing he's sort of still got his skills and all that. If you'd probably asked me 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have probably said Pompey. But Rocco Berry just seems to really have found his feet. Probably his last two games in particular. That's where that game against the Sharks, it was sensational. Had another good game against the Raiders. So I don't. I mean, it's a good headaches to have. But I think that he has to slot back in there, and I think that it'll probably be I think it will be at the expense of Berry, but also wouldn't be surprised otherwise. Yeah, I think Pompey, they obviously like Pompey. Pompey's, as you said, the stats good. He does his job very well. He gets a bit of a hard time sometimes, but I've always liked him as a player. There was that game against the Broncos where he, touched someone's jersey, and then we ended up, we could have won the game from that play, but it got called back, and it was hardly even a penalty, but we got a disallowed try for it. And he got everyone's like Pompey this, Pompey that, but no, I mean, I think he's a good player, and he's sort of obviously there for a reason. Webster obviously likes him, because he's obviously played a lot. I don't feel for. I'm a bit gutted about Viliami Vailea going. I thought I really like what I've seen from him the last couple of years when he's had a chance. But I mean, obviously with Tuivasa-Sheck, he's Vailea's made a good decision going to the Cowboys to a good system.
Agree.
I mean, I'm not sure what Hiku's sort of contract is at the Cowboys.
I think he's going to Super League.
Hiku is. Oh, there you go. So he might.
Yeah,
So Valia might
he's
actually be able
gonna
to get a starting spot there, which would be awesome to see. Because I really like him as a player, and sad to see him leave the Warriors, but happy for him, And then hopefully, maybe in a few years' time, if we're short of a centre, we might be able to get him back.
Yeah, well, I think that's why they brought him on, the Cowboys, because to fill that void that Hiku's going to leave when he goes. I'm not sure what Super League team he's going to, but I know he's going to Super League. So
that makes sense.
Good, like you said. Yeah, like you said, good decision because we're just going to be too many centers on our books, and which is why going back to the question you asked me is what are my thoughts around this decision of Pompey extending. I'm surprised because I just thought that that come November, if he offered himself up to a few teams, I'm sure he would have got picked up, and where he could probably get more of a starting spot. Because, and the reason why I say this is, in my opinion, I think that RTS would come in for Pompey, in my opinion. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Because he's obviously he's happy to extend. The Warriors are happy for him to extend.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think also at the same time, where's Harris Tavita going to fit in as well? Because we've got all these awesome star players coming in, and going back to what I was saying about the way the club's going, the team's going, influencing Australians. Well, it's obviously influenced him to come back as well because he wasn't enjoying the sport. He wanted to get away from it, but he's had a break and now he's coming back. So that's what I mean. What the club has done, and within a season, within 1 year, is just phenomenal. And I just think that at the moment, where do you put Harris Tavita? I mean, if you're listening to this, comment, where do you think Harris Tavita will play? Because that's just something I'm just a bit confused about. Especially when you got Tamari Martin, Luke Metcalf. You can't go past those guys. I mean, don't get me wrong, Harris Tavita, awesome player. I love his defense, but where do you fit him in? Because surely he's down third or fourth down the picking order. Because you've got Luke Metcalf, Tamari Martin,
Volkman as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're in terms of
Volkman's playing some great footy in the New South Wales Cup at the moment, so he's getting some good exposure. I mean, he's going to be a utility, imagine, or maybe they'll release Volkman, maybe. But I mean, I hope not. I think he seems like a good player, but when you've got 5 really good halves, you struggle to keep them. So, but I mean, he could be more of a utility. He can obviously play. Harris Tavita has played a little bit in the middle. So, we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but feel that Harris Tavita will have a long stint in reserve grade, to be honest. And that's got nothing to do with saying anything about his talent or anything. We all know how talented he is. I just think it's more to do with the fact that he will be down the pecking order. That's just what I think at the moment. It'll be hard to come on as a forward. I know he can probably play as a forward. He played fullback a couple of times, I remember, for the Warriors when he had to slot in when there were too many injuries. But again, Chance is there. And I think if Chance got injured, that RTS would go there. So that's out of the equation in my eyes. And I just don't know where he's going to fit. I think how Volkman's been playing New South Wales Cup and he's been doing an awesome job, and he slots in when he needs to into first grade. When he needs to, he does a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe like Harris Tavita will be that kind of playing that kind of role. But it's going to be interesting to see by the end of the year, after the season's gone, etc. The shiftings, whether Volkman. I don't even know how long Volkman signed on for. I can't remember. But whether he gets leave and goes somewhere else, because I'm sure there's not many halves to go around at the moment in the NRL. Decent halves. And I just think that if he shopped around, if he was shopped around by his manager, I'm sure he would get picked up, and with more of an opportunity to play first grade. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, I love how the Warriors are being very quiet about how they go about their inside detail. Like they just keep it quiet. Then we never saw Harris Tavita signing coming up. RTS that came out of nowhere. It came out. We always knew that the Warriors said that he can come back at any time he wants, but didn't see that coming out of anywhere. And I just think we've got a lot of headaches to come when it comes to selection, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the Warriors.
Mhm.
But yeah,
It's a very good
Pompey.
thing.
Adam Pompey. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think? Because you just said before you think that Rocco Berry would step aside for RTS.
Yeah, I think so. I just think that Pompey's been there for a while. He's pretty experienced.
Yeah.
He does his job and does it well. It's not that Berry's playing badly, but I think Berry probably had some there's some issues with his game last year, and he has come back stronger this season. I'll admit that. And as I said, he's playing the best footy we've seen him play the last few weeks. But the fact that they've just re-signed Pompey makes me feel like they will. I don't mind the signing, but yeah, also as I said before, shout out to Vilea, and I hope he finds his way and play for North Queensland. Should we do a quick round of tips for this round, and then we'll rip into sort of what we think is going to happen for the rest of the season after that. So Thursday night we've got Roosters Seagulls. I'm not sure where it has been played. Probably SCG, Roosters' home game.
Yeah. I think I have written down here. I think Seagulls will win. I just think that, but this could backfire as well, because I think that right now the Roosters know that their season's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, and their season's gone, and basically, because their season's gone, they might just play some careless rugby league. When I say careless, I don't mean like they're going to just do nothing. They might just throw it around a bit and actually find some spark, because they've got nothing to lose. So I reckon that they're going to do that, but I still think the Seagulls will win. I still think the Seagulls will win, and they need to as well if they're going to make that 8.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the Seagulls. They've sort of they had that big win against the Sharks, and they nearly lost it. They were hardly convincing, beating the Dragons by 4 points last week. So, and I think the Roosters, although their season's probably over, well, their season is over. I think it's safe to say there's too many good players in that team. Playing at home, ECG. I'm going to go the Roosters in that one. Titans Warriors at Seabus Stadium on Friday night, 8 o'clock.
Do you have to ask? Nah, Warriors for me. I still reckon they'll do it 13 plus as well.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
We're doing it. The one thing that scares me is that I think we've lost 4 of the last 5 against the Titans. But yeah, this is a different Warriors team, so I have to tip the Warriors. Maybe it's the 1-12. Panthers Storm. Oh.
That's a hard one, isn't it? That's a hard one. All right.
At Bluebet Stadium.
Bloody good round of rugby league coming up, isn't it? I still will give it to the Panthers. I just think they're just looking, especially with Cleary back, they just look a lot better with Cleary back. They were doing quite all right without him, but I think with him back, they've just gone up a few gears as well. So, yeah, I mean, I would actually, maybe, if I was in that management, have a chat to them about their post-try celebrations, because there are some really wacky ones out there. I mean, there's some good ones, but the Panthers have come up with some strange ones. So, yeah.
Try July's over now, John, so you don't need to worry about that.
True.
Yeah, I think, has to go Panthers for me. Absolute blockbuster. But, the fact that they did so well when Claire was out, and now Claire is back, and they just, they're flying the last couple of weeks. So, got to be Panthers for me. Cowboys Broncos, 5 o'clock on Saturday. That's one of the best 5 o'clock Saturday games we've had in a wee while. Obviously, Cowboys coming off that disappointing loss to Titans, and the Broncos flying at the moment.
That's going to be another blockbuster, I think, especially because Queensland Derby. They Cowboys will rise, and so will the Broncos. They'll rise for this because it's like you get passionate. Like it's like when it's like in rugby, for example, when the Springboks, when they play for example, England or something, maybe they'll lose or win just by a small margin. However, when they play the All Blacks, they go up another level. They go up another level. The same situation, like Broncos Cowboys. I think it's just going to be a heated game, but I will give it to the Broncos.
Yeah. It might just be my dislike for the Broncos, but I'm going to go the Cowboys here. I think they're playing at home, and they'll be they'll be gutted about last week. I think they'll be
Nano's
absolutely
out as
gutted
well.
about last
Nano's
week.
out, and he's a vital cog to their team.
He is, and Holmes probably won't be playing as well. But Scotty D will come up with something.
Yep.
Ruben Cotter. How good's Ruben Cotter? Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Cowboys at home
Fair enough.
with a bit of an upset and what should be a beautiful game. Dolphins Knights, 7:30 on Saturday night at Optus Stadium in Perth.
Yeah, Knights. Knights. I think they're going to be on. They're going to keep their run going. Knights. Yeah,
got to be
playing
Knights.
some playing some good footy. So yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Dolphins. They started the season well and probably exceeded expectations, but they're just going downhill every week pretty much.
Yeah.
Rabbitohs Sharks also at Optus Stadium. We'll have a double header at Optus on Saturday. How good!
Rabbitohs Sharks. It's going to be another blockbuster for me, but not because the sides are playing two hot sides. It's going to be a blockbuster because they're two sides fighting for their season as well. That's what I mean by that. Like you know, they have to treat it like they have to treat it like this is the last opportunity. They had to treat every game like that now. Especially the Sharks.
They're both on 26 points, and but the Rabbitohs have a bye in hand as well. So
yeah. And Souths are 6 and Sharks are 7 because of points differential. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Yep. And so I will give the game to Souths. I think I'm not sure if Mitchell's back for that game or not.
He played last week, didn't he? Did he not play that in the end?
I think I can't remember actually because I can't remember. He comes out. He's in and out sometimes, but but I'm pretty sure he did play. But I could be wrong here. But I still would give it to Souths just because on the form of the Sharks, not because Souths are playing any well. They're not playing that great of footy, but I just think they'll be better than the Sharks.
Yeah,
simple as that.
He did play last week. Yeah, I think with Fletcher back, Sharks said before they're on the way down.
Yeah.
Eels Dragons Sunday afternoon at Combank Stadium. Yeah, Eels need to do everything they can to sort of win. They're currently sitting 11th. Yeah, so they're in that real sort of they must go take these opportunities. And the Dragons have not been great. So I'm also going to go the Eels, and I think the Eels will I'll go 13 plus for that one. I think it'll be a big one. Yeah. And Raiders Tigers to finish off Sunday at GIO Stadium. Can the Tigers pull off an upset?
Yeah, nah. You're
never going to back it, are you? They pull off the odd one, but you're never going to say it confidently.
Yeah, I think like I said recently to you, where I mentioned the Warriors just don't do good in the rain, but Tigers do because they beat the Panthers in the rain. So they'll need it to be raining to have any chance. I just think they're just too off. Also, everything that's happening off the field within the Tigers setup is just it's probably really distracting, and it's just I don't think it's done them any good. And I just think I think the Raiders will take this one. Doesn't mean they're gonna blow them away, but I just think they'll take this one out.
Yeah, if it was a Tigers home game, I might be tempted to actually just pick them for an upset. But Raiders, what's that? Two losses in two losses in a row, and they'll be gutted about that loss last week. I think that they put themselves in a pretty good position, and now all of a sudden they're really the season's on the line. They are still 5th, but they're only one win ahead of 8th. So
and going back to the Raiders game against us, I'm not sure if you saw it, but Graham Annesley, the head of refereeing at the NRL. He put on a video where when Ricky was saying that it shouldn't have gone to Golden Point because he was talking about the whole when Dallin sort of brushed Sebastian Chris's face when he took the ball out and dislodged the ball as well, and he was having a cry about that. But we know Ricky just cries about everything. But he actually said no, they backed up, and he backed up the decision of the bunker to not give it a penalty. It was just a loose carry, and he explained why. And I thought, well, Ricky, there you go. There's your answer. Wipe those tears away, mate.
Right there.
Tears away. Yeah. But all right. So I think it's going to be another blockbuster round, and again, not just because some of the footy is going to be good. Like I said, Panthers Storm, etc. Broncos Cowboys, amazing games. Titans Warriors, but I think the other games are going to be good because they're fighting for this season.
Yeah.
every point counts now because the ladder is so condensed. And I think it's time that you and myself, we've been talking about this, about going over who is going to be our top 8. And I remember just briefly telling you earlier today about my top 8, and you were like, "Yo, really? You're a bit surprised about my choices." But yeah, you got your choices too. So should we go over there?
Yep, sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, I just did that. I didn't. John had the notepad out, and he was writing down
Calculator.
the scores of results and figuring out points differentials and all that. But I just did the NRL ladder predictor.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Or should we just say? Do we want to say
You
who's first?
Yeah,
Who
you go 1 to 8 and tell them why you're 1 to 8. Then I'll go into my detailed notepad that you just said and stuff like that. So we'll go from there.
Sweet. Okay, so I've got Panthers finishing on 42 points. So I think that they're just, as we said before, they're playing brilliantly. They're absolutely cruising at the moment. They've got a pretty easy run home, so I'm backing them to win at least 4 or 5 of their remaining games. Well, I've got the Warriors and Broncos equal on 40 points.
Oh, wow.
Currently, the Warriors have plus 171, and the Broncos have plus 153. So I've got the Warriors finish second if they can keep the points differential going well. I do have the Warriors.
Isn't the Warriors points differential 111?
Oh, did I misread that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, it is. What? How does that work out?
It'd be nice to have 171, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This was on the NRL ladder predictor. Actually, I do have the Broncos finishing second. Yeah, and when I've done the ladder predictor, it's got 171. Okay, that's all good. It's their problem. So Warriors, Broncos second, 40. Warriors 40. Broncos got a pretty tough run home, so I think they might drop a couple of games, but they'll still obviously be in the hunt. Storm on 38 points in 4th position. They should win at least. I think they'll win at least 3 of their remaining 4 games. No, I think they'll win 4 of their remaining 5 games. Sorry. In 5th place, I've got the Bunnies coming in 26 points. Cowboys also on 26 points as well. So those two could be a share of 5th and 6th. The Bunnies are currently plus 138, so I've got them finishing. We know what the Bunnies can do. They can put some points on, and now that the trail's back, it might just come at the right time. So I think they're not going anywhere. They'll be riding the hunt. Cowboys, I mean, not great. The Nanai's out, and that Holmes is probably out. But I just think there's something there, and there's a lot of potential in that team. I'm just looking for Scotty D to really take the ball by the horns and start running the show there. I've got the Raiders slipping in 34 points, 7th. I'm pretty down on them at the moment, but I do think they've got they've got a run home where they should pick up a few wins, and they'll stay in the hunt. And then I've got the Knights in 8th on 31 points, and then the Eels, Shark both on 30 missing out, and the Seagulls on 29 missing out. So they are still only 1 point away, 1 or 2 points away from the 8th. So it still will be congested, and there are some blockbusters in the final week that could really it could be one of the great weeks of NRL actually, if a few results go whatever way.
Oh, totally agree, mate. So can you just list your 1 to 8 again, just so everyone can remember? So
1 Panthers, 2 Broncos, 3 Warriors, 4 Storm, 5 Bunnies, 6 Cowboys, 7 Raiders, 8 Knights.
Nice. It's going to be hard to pick. You can't say nah, you're wrong, because it's just very difficult to pick at the moment. That's why I didn't rely on technology and got my notepad out and stuff like that. But I'll go over my one, and I'll go over how I did it quickly. So we'll start from from 1 to 12 here. So Panthers, right? Currently on 34 points. Currently first on the table, and they've got a points differential of 257 points. That's quite massive. So first game versus Storm, win. They go to 36 points. Second game, Seagulls, win. Go to 38 points. Titans, I think they'll win. They'll go to 40 points. Eels, they'll win, go to 42 points. The last game when they play against the Cowboys, I think they'll lose, and only on the basis that I think the Cowboys will be pushing to make sure they're in the 8, and also I think that when the Panthers are there, they might even rest players. Towards that on that last game of the season, maybe in the game before. I don't know, but that's why I think that I just have a feeling that the Cowboys will win that last game. So it leaves them on 42 points. That leaves them on 42 points. Broncos currently on 34 points, second on the table. So B Cowboys, I believe they'll win, go to 36 points. B Eels go to 38 points. They have a bye. So they'll go to 40 points with two automatic points there. Raiders, I believe they'll win. They'll go to 42 points. Then they play the Storm in their last game of the season, which means that they will go to 44 points, and I believe that they'll take them on a premiership bout with that 44 points. But that could easily change if the Storm turn up for those games as well. They could easily change, which would actually be a favor for us, for the Warriors, because I have the Warriors in third. So currently on 30 points. Titans, I believe, will win. We'll go to 32 points. Tigers will win, go to 34 points. Sea Eagles will go to 36 points. We'll win. We'll go to 36 points. Dragons, I believe, will win. We'll go to 38 points. Then the Dolphins, I believe, will win and go to 40 points. And I believe that they'll come third because they'll end up on 40 points altogether. So they'll be still 2 points behind the Panthers, who I believe will come second. Storm, at the moment, 30 points. They're on 30 points. So they play the Panthers. I believe they'll lose, so they'll stay on 30 points. Then they play the Raiders. I believe they'll win. They'll go to 32 points. Then they play the Dragons. I believe they'll win, and they'll go to 34 points. They play the Titans, and I believe they'll win. They'll go to 36 points. Broncos, I believe they'll lose, and they'll stay on 36 points. They're currently on 101 points differential, so I believe they'll stay 4th or 5th because the next team I have here, who is currently 5th at the moment, Raiders. At the moment, they're on 28 points, 5th on the ladder. The first game coming up is the West. I believe they'll win. They'll go to 30 points. Then they play the Storm. I believe they'll lose. They'll stay at 30 points. Then they play the Bulldogs. I believe they'll win and go to 32 points. Then they play the Broncos. I believe they'll lose, stay at 32 points. Then they play the Sharks, and I think they'll lose that one as well, and they stay at 32 points. And for me, that drops them out of the 8. Souths are currently on 26 points. They play the Sharks. I believe they'll win and go to 28. They'll play the Dragons. They'll win. They'll go to 30 points. They play the Knights. I believe they'll lose that one. They'll stay on 32 points. Then they got the bye. Then they play the Roosters in the last game of the season. I believe they'll win that one and go to 36 points. So they stay on equal with Storm for me. So it's either 4th or 5th between them and Storm. And I'm just saying 5th for now because they're just got their Storm's points differential is much more superior at the moment. Not by much, but still superior. Sharks currently on 26 points, 7th on the ladder. They play Souths. For the first game, I believe they'll lose, stay on 26. Then they play the Titans. I believe they'll lose. They'll stay on 26. I reckon that they'll lose that game, and that's going to break their season. That game against the Titans, when they play in the following week. Then they play the Cowboys. I believe they'll lose. They'll stay on 26. I believe they play the Knights. I believe they'll lose. They'll stay on 26. Then they play the Raiders, which I think they'll win, and they go to 28 points, and they'll finish on 28 points out of the 8 for me. Cowboys currently on 26 points, on 8th on the ladder. They play the Broncos. I believe they'll lose, stay on 26. They've got the bye next, so they go to 28. Then they play the Sharks. They win, go to 30. Dolphins win, go to 32. Then the Panthers, and I believe they'll win that game, as I mentioned earlier, and go to 34. And they will finish on 34 points. And for me, they'll finish 7th. Because the next side, after that, who is 9th on the table right now, just sitting outside the 8, is the Knights. They play the Dolphins. I believe they'll win. Go to 27. They're on 25 points now, so they'll go to 27 points, sorry. Then they play the Bulldogs. I believe they'll win. Go to 29 points. Souths, I believe they win. They win there. Go to 31 points. Then the Sharks, they win. Go to 33 points. Dragons, then they win. Go to 35 points. And then they finish on 6th. And in my last team for the 8, Sea Eagles. They're currently on 25 points, and I believe that they'll win against the Roosters. They go to 27 points. Then they play the Panthers. I believe they'll lose. They stay on 29 points. They'll lose to the Warriors next for the following week, and then they stay on 29 points. Then they play the Bulldogs, they win, go to 31 points, and then they play West, which they win and go to 33 points and finish on 8. And the teams to miss out will be the Eels, the Titans, and also the Sharks and the Raiders. So my 1 to 8. Sorry if that was just too much for you guys, but I had to go into detail about why I'm doing it this way. 1 Broncos, 2 Panthers, 3 Warriors, 4 Storm, 5 Souths, 6 Knights, 7 Cowboys, and Seagulls to finish out in 8. That's my top 8.
So we've got the same 8 in different order, and I've got Raiders and you've got Seagulls.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down on the Seagulls. I think that they're not sold on them, but good luck to them and good luck to you.
I think we have to have a little bit of a bet here to see who does better in their top 8 predictions.
What's the prize? Like a Warriors hat or something?
Oh, something. I don't know. We'll figure something. Well, let's think of something. Maybe some people can comment on what they think it should be. But nothing like a nudie run or anything like that. I don't know about anything like that. But we'll think of something. But I think we should put a wager up for this.
Yeah, for sure.
Just make it a bit more fun. Just a bit more fun.
And we might need some judges on who gets it closer. Because I doubt that one of us is going to get it bang on correct. So we'll judge it on that.
If you're listening right now, tell us what your top 8 is going to be, and tell us what you think about our top 8 predictions. But I think there's a lot of people doing this at the moment, doing their top 8 predictions, and I just think that it's an awesome time to do it because it's such a. Have you ever seen such a condensed letter?
Nah, it's crazy. It's unheard of, and it just shows why the NRL is the greatest competition in the world. It's just
exactly.
And this season's really been it's been so good. So absolutely loving it. Do we want to do our new segment?
Yeah, Warrior of the Week. It's something that we want to do every week and just let you guys know who we think the Warrior of the Week is. But there was no game. But we thought, let's still just do this. Let's just keep going with this. So, who is your Warrior of the Week?
I've already given him a shout out today, but I'm going to go Viliami Vailea. I'm happy for him getting to go with the Cowboys. That Cowboys team, they've got some good players in there. Pretty young team. I think he will slot in well. He's my Warrior of the Week. How about you?
I was torn between Jackson Ford and Jazz Tavanga. Purely on the fact that Jazz is making his comeback, after that long injuries he's had, and he must be, imagine being with the Warriors for such a long period of time, seeing what they've been going through, but then now having to sit out a lot of the season when they've actually been performing. Imagine how wouldn't that eat you up inside? Yeah,
it'd be heartbreaking. Yeah, he's been through would have been through some dark days. So it's a good. So you're gonna go with him, or what was the reasoning for Jackson Ford?
Oh, I just think because he's just an unsung hero, and I just think honestly he's just he plays, he just does what he needs to do. He's also he's been there on the left edge, and he's just done his job. He hasn't been replaced. No one's been able to move him out of his spot because he's just done an awesome job. And he was pretty well. I mean, he was no one at the Dragons, but he didn't really get a shot there. He didn't really get a shot, and he's been given a shot here, and he's showing what he can do. And so that's why I was a bit torn between them. But I'll give it to Jazz this week just because of the fact that he's just returning from injury, and I'm expecting him to be fired up. And being with the board, the Board brothers, him and Dylan, going out there and doing the thing, because they were both coming off the interchange. At the time when Jazz was there at the start of the season, and they were wreaking havoc on teams. So I just think that I bet you he can't wait to get out there. I bet you he's busting to get out there and just. I believe he might be a bit angry, just angry, like I've been missing out on the season and I need to get out there.
I don't like angry Jazz though, because I don't like angry Jazz because he'll get sent off.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but I think he's matured a bit. I totally know what you're saying because he used to give away a lot of silly penalties, right? Because just due to aggression, and I think he's mature. When I say wouldn't say he's mellowed out. I would just say he's matured a bit more, where he's using that anger and using it in a different way, just within the rules of the game.
Manifesting the anger.
Yes, exactly. I don't know if he's been doing something, yoga or something. I don't know, but he's just. I think that I can't wait to see him out there, and I honestly think that come Friday we'll see some late changes, and I think one late change, and I think that'll be Jazz coming in for Bailey Sarinan, which is you have to feel sorry for Bailey because he's been performing. He's been playing awesome. I mean, the whole side's been playing awesome. No matter who they put in there, does a good job.
Yep.
And I just that's why I think that it'll be hard. But I think Jazz just brings something extra to the side. I think he brings something extra because he can play hooker. He can cover Wade Egan just in case he gets knocked out again. But he can also, there's been years where he's played prop. He's played at forward. You're weird, like to give the other forwards a break where he just runs it up. And he's aggressive enough to do that. And he's fast enough to do that. Which and I think it won't be if it's not this week, it won't be too long before he slots back into the side at the expense of probably Bailey Sarinan. Unfortunately, that's my opinion. Yeah, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I think yeah, he seems like the most. I mean, as you say, he's been playing good, but he seems like the most logical person to go out. And Jazz is he's too good for the team and too much of a he epitomizes what it is to be a Warrior. So yeah, but I mean, good headaches to be having for Coach Webster and the team. Should be a good game. I'm actually I'm watching a friend get a musical on Friday night, so I'm gonna miss the game. So I might need to.
Come on, fair enough. If it's a mate, yeah.
I'm pretty disappointed, but so if you're listening, Alex, thanks for making me miss the Warriors this week. But I'll be watching the highlights. I'll be trying to avoid watching the score, but I find that I can never help myself. So
I've gotten in a lot of trouble with my wife. In times where we'll be on a date or something, just going out for dinner, and I'll just sneakily look at my phone, and she'll call me out on it. She's done it many times before, so I've had to learn how to put my phone down. But I find it too hard as well. But she's actually at the start of the year, she went and found the NRL draw for 2023, got every Warriors game and penciled it in the on the email calendar. To know, she goes, okay, the Warriors are playing that game. I'm not going to bother John because I just know that he's not going to be doing anything else but watching rugby league. So, yeah, it's I'm glad I've got my wife's support there on that front. So
yeah, I think it seems like wives and partners and husbands are just if they're with a Warriors fan, they're aware of the situation and know that. It's generally a 5 o'clock Saturday, 8 o'clock Friday night, or a 4 o'clock Sunday. You always got to check if there's plans on. The Warriors aren't playing.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I might have to reward her. I mean, that's probably not the way to say it, but might buy her a nice Warriors hoodie or something. Or Warriors Udi. She likes her Udis, so I might buy her a Warriors Udi just to.
I'd get a Warriors Udi. Yeah, I'd be all for that.
Oh, I did contemplate it. I did see it online, and I was thinking, it's not really me. But I did contemplate it. But she loves the Udi, so I might get her a Warriors Udi. I don't know if she'll wear it. I don't know if she'll look at me and just stare straight at me, but go, what the heck? But no, I'll probably just be at home watching it, or I haven't really gone out to watch the games this year. It's always been at home. I've just found it easy just to be on the couch, hence couch coaches. But I'll be at home watching it. But the question for you, my friend, is grand final time. If we make the grand final, are we going? I've said this before, but are we going?
Oh, we have to go that way. We've both got permission. I'm in a group chat with some of the boys, and someone brought up the question before, like, we're doing this, and the response was positive. I tell you what, there's about 5 or 6 people. There's a few mates who live over in Australia. They're going to sort of fly. They're talking about flying in from all places, and a few mates down in Christchurch. So, it'll be. We've still got a few weeks to wait. But I think that. Yeah, I mean, this could be, if it happened, if the Warriors did win and I wasn't there, I'd be pretty disappointed in myself.
Yeah, I would be gutted. I'd be very regretful if I didn't get to go to the grand final. We win, especially if we win it. But looking at some of the airlines today, yeah, there weren't many flights, but I'm assuming, Air New Zealand or Jetstar would, take advantage of it if the Warriors made the grand final, and they'll put up some flights to go to Sydney. Because I looked it up. Remember, I showed you earlier today, and we looked at some of the flights, and there was just nothing there. There was some layover flights. So flights from, we're in Wellington, just so everyone knows, we're in Wellington. So there were flights from Wellington to Auckland and then to Sydney, but it was over a period of 12, over a window of 12 hours. And it was like, whoa, what the heck? I couldn't find any direct flights. There were a couple, but they were in the wrong time.
There'll be more. There'll definitely be more put on. Like, there'll be in New Zealand. It'd be silly not to. Maybe old Christopher Luxon will be able to figure out a way to talk to some of his mates in New Zealand, and then he might be able to get a few extra votes. I think the election will be the weekend after the grand final. So
good call. Good call. If he does that, then he can be part of the Board Brothers as well. So yeah, but no, I mean, I didn't go to the 2002 or 2011, which I was gutted about. But back then, 2002, I was a student, so I was a poor student, so that was never going to happen. 2011, I'm trying to remember where I was. Oh, here. I was here working as a journalist. We weren't making that much money as a journalist as well back then in 2011, so didn't get to go to that one. But no, this time, yeah, I just don't think I could let go. I don't think I could not go. I have to even consider going to the finals games, home finals games, if we make the top four, which I believe we will. I believe we'll make the top four.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's probably more realistic and probably what I should be setting my goals on. But I'm just I'm going straight to the grand final.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, well, I think you should wrap it up from there. But
yeah, probably talked long enough, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to get bored of us. But thanks to everyone for all your feedback and messages, as we said at the start of the podcast. We are really overwhelmed with all the support and feedback. You exceeded our expectations in terms of listeners, and on all the Warriors fan pages for the comments and stuff. Thank you, and we will push and pursue to bring you more awesome content and reviews, etc. And in the pipeline, we have some interviews coming up. So hopefully we can get that out to you as well, and we'll ask questions. But if you would do us a big favor if you will subscribe to Couch Coaches. You can go to our fan page as well. Coaches at the moment it's called. Is that right?
Yep, Coaches.
Coaches. Just for now, it'll change in maybe now another 49 days or something like that.
Yeah, we'll get there. If you search Couch Coaches on Facebook, you'll find it. And it is Couch Coaches on Instagram. So yeah.
And looking on Spotify, because some people actually did say, where could I find it? Couch Coaches Assemble is where they probably the easiest way to search us in the search login there, in the search engine there. Sorry, and if we load this up to YouTube, we'll probably do that as well. Yeah, just look for Couch Coaches and stuff. We'll call it Couch Coaches Assemble. Yeah, but anyway,
we're on Apple now as well. We had some technical difficulties last week, but we are on Apple Podcasts this week. So
yeah,
can't forget about that. But yeah, cheers, shout out to everyone for listening, and tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mum. We love the support and love talking about the mighty Wars and the mighty NRL.
Exactly. So yeah, guys, thanks a lot again, and yeah, just please help us by subscribing to our channels, and we've been getting more followers each week, which is awesome. And yeah, can't say thank you enough. So we'll wrap it up, but we'll come back to you next week, and we'll let you know what we're doing next week. And yeah, and we'll be posting this on our channel as well. See you later, guys. Up the Warriors.
Up the Wars. Choo choo. Choo choo.